The house was a steal, which should have been the first warning. It was a mid-century modern gem tucked into the damp, mossy woods of the Pacific Northwest. Elias, a freelance illustrator who craved silence, moved in on a Tuesday. By Thursday, he realized he wasn't alone. It started with the condensation. The house was full of floor-to-ceiling windows. Every morning, the glass would be fogged over from the humid forest air. On Friday morning, Elias found a handprint on the kitchen window. It was small like a child's butt. The fingers were unnervingly long, stretching nearly to the top of the pane. It was on the inside. Elias wiped it away, his heart thudding against his ribs like a trapped bird. He told himself it was an old mark he'd missed during cleaning. But that night, the temperature dropped. The heater kicked on, humming a low mechanical moan. He sat in the living room, the black reflection of the forest staring back at him through the glass. As he sketched, he felt a sudden icy pressure on the back of his neck. He looked at his reflection in the window. Behind his reflected shoulder, a figure stood. It was pale the color of a drowned thing, and its face was a blurred smudge of gray. Elias froze. He didn't turn around. He knew with a primal certainty that if he turned his head, the room would be empty. The thing only existed in the glass. He watched as the reflection of the creature raised a hand. It didn't reach for him. It reached for the glass from the other side, the side of the room where Elias was sitting. Screech. A sound like a diamond cutting a mirror echoed through the silent house. A thin white scratch appeared on the surface of the window, right where the creature's long fingernail pressed. Elias bolted for the front door, but as he passed the hallway mirror, he saw it again. It was closer now. It was crouching in the corner of the mirror's frame, its jaw hanging open at an impossible angle, revealing rows of needle-thin teeth. He reached the front door and grabbed the handle. It was locked. He fumbled with the deadbolt, his eyes darting to the glass panel beside the door. The creature was there. It wasn't behind him anymore. It was reaching out of the glass. A hand, gray and wet, emerged from the flat surface of the window, the skin rippling like water as it transitioned into his reality. The fingers, those impossibly long fingers, wrapped around Elias's wrist. They were colder than the deepest winter. Elias screamed, finally looking at his wrist. There was nothing there, no hand, no creature. But when he looked back at the glass, the reflection of the creature was leaning in close to his ear, its mouth moving in a silent whisper. He looked down at his own arm again. 5 dark, bruised fingerprints were slowly blooming onto his skin, pressing deep into the flesh, as if an invisible weight was dragging him toward the window. The house wasn't haunted. The light was, and as long as there was a reflection, there was a doorway.